You know, whenever I do a project, I always think how I could have done it differently, let's say. And I'm already looking, and I know I'm gonna have to zip around here again, okay? And hey, it is what it is, because I want this to look right. I thought, how else could I do this? And I'm looking up here, and I used to do white ceilings like this without any masking tape up or anything, and where it hit the ceiling to a wall, and the wall is going to be a different color, I would just spooge my roller cover right into the corner and letting the paint come down onto the wall yay far, you know, with the mini roller, and just push it up in there so that I wouldn't have to cut the ceiling in with a paintbrush like this. And I thought, hey, you know what? If I have another ceiling, and in fact, I might try that. I might try that in my next bathroom. I have another bathroom up here to do. Maybe, just maybe, I should run masking tape all the way around the ceiling like this before I paint the ceiling. How about that? With my roller, then when I put my roller up there, I can get it right up next to the edge, let's say. Do you see what I mean? And I can virtually get 98% of the walls done that way and cut in. Worst case scenario, if I don't want to get too much into an inside corner, let's say I could jump up there with just a little paintbrush and kind of fill it in when just as I'm getting done with the paint roller. Do you see what I mean? Then I could just pull the masking tape off. Voila! No cutting in the ceiling. I think that's the ticket. I think I'm going to do that on this next ceiling. And see, most of the time you're not going to have white semi-gloss ceilings to where you're going to have to cut in the edge a little bit, depending what color was on the ceiling from before and all that kind of stuff. You're only going to have small rooms like here, or a closet if you want a closet with white semi-gloss paint in it, or a pantry with white semi-gloss paint in it, or a half bathroom with white semi-gloss ceiling. You could do it that way. I think that's the ticket, because then I would pull the masking tape off after with the paint roller. Then I don't have to see any flash marks where the paintbrush was to the paint roller. And if I get the paintbrush marks too much paint on there, you'll stand back and you can see, oh yeah, I can see where he did that. He cut that in and it's cut in 1.5 inches, 2 inches off the wall, and I can see it because there's more paint there, thicker, with him putting it on with the paintbrush around the edges than the paint roller was on the rest of the ceiling, let's say. Now I wouldn't do that on a flat ceiling paint, but like for a bathroom like that, I think that's what I'm going to do. And there's your tip. There's your tip for the day. If you're watching this, had you not been watching this video, you wouldn't know how to do it that way, would you? Because see, up here, this ceiling here, this is just flat, white, standard flat ceiling paint is called. And because the walls, I put a eggshell finish on there. I just ran the white paint over pretty much as close as I could with the roller. And if I got white paint on the wall, I was like, hey, I don't really care, because when I put this on and cut it in, it's going to cover, and it did on most of it. But in certain areas, I had to kind of go around and check it, and in a few spots, I had to put 2 coats of paint cutting in certain areas where I got too much of the white over on the wall. Does that make sense? But I wasn't gonna think, do I put masking tape around the whole thing? I mean, yeah, I could have put masking tape around this whole ceiling and done that too, and still got a nice straight edge on there, and done it that way without having to do any cut in whatsoever. Masking tape, hey, masking tape could be my friend, and it could be yours too. So I'm gonna zip around here again, and this is two coats of paint that's already up there, and you can still see up in there that I've got to put some more up there because this was a white semi-gloss, and like I say, you can only put so much on there, and it wants to slide off your paintbrush and slide off the ceiling. There's only so much you can put on at any one go with the paintbrush. Okay, and so, you know, lots of places I don't need it, but in other places I can see I do need it. So I'm going to run a third coat. But my loss is your gain, and it's my gain too. I never would have thought of trying to do it this way. I would have tried to cut in without the masking tape. That's what I was planning on doing. That would have taken me forever. You know, especially where the grout line is in there. And granted, once I pull that up, there's probably going to be a couple spots here and there where I'm going to have to clean it off because it might have gone up inside the top edge of the masking tape. That's why when you put this masking tape on, you want to make sure it's all nice and tight on the ceiling. But if I get a little bit of that white coming down through onto the wall, because I still have to cut the walls in, and the walls on the inside, and you saw where I still have to cut it in, you know, here and here and all that kind of stuff. I'm still gonna do up in there. I'll just cut that in freehand with my paintbrush. But over here, I'm probably gonna put masking tape over that grout line. I don't want to really do that freehand. I don't feel like it, but I should be able to get by doing that with just one coat on the walls. But I think I've just figured out a quicker way to do white ceilings from now on, especially if they're low ceilings. Put the masking tape around first, and then using my 6-inch, I got a 3/4 inch snap roller. I could have used a 1/2 inch or 3/8 snap roller or something, but 3/4 inch will still be fine. And I'm going to end up doing that on my next bathroom, and I think that's the ticket for me from now on when I do white semi-gloss ceilings. So yeah. Okay, I just ran a third coat of paint around there, and I'm glad this happened as it happened, because it got me to thinking, how can I do this different next time? And now you know what I'm going to do next time. Yeah, you'll have to watch that video and see how well I do with that, and I'm sure it's going to come out good. And as for plastic bags, you know, the red, I should have been careful and not wrapped anything with the red, because when I got all done, I happened to notice on there that some of the red came off of the plastic onto my white paintbrush. I had to wipe that off and clean that off. Use clear plastic, or if you have a bag, make sure it doesn't have any writing on it, especially red or blue or something like that, and just cut out the clear plastic bag. You don't need a whole lot to wrap around a paintbrush, okay? And so now I'm gonna let that dry, and then once it's dry beyond dry to the touch, then I probably should take that masking tape down. I'm thinking, do you really want to leave that masking tape up there all night? Probably not. But again, if I take it down too soon, if I have any built up paint along that inside corner, I'm going to have to be careful about that, because if I just do it when it's dry to the touch, maybe the backside of the paint on top of the edge, towards the top of the edge of the masking tape, it might still be wet there, and I might not want to mess with it and start pulling it down, get it all on my hands. I might want to wait a couple hours And then I'll start pulling this off in one corner, be real careful. And then I'll have to make sure I'm careful about just pulling it off. You don't want to just start pulling it off, especially because it's a semi-gloss paint. Yeah, and now you've seen I've got 3 coats of semi-gloss paint right up next to that paint, right up next to the masking tape. And if I'm not careful, when I pull that masking tape up, once the paint has started drying, it's going to get kind of rubbery. And so you don't want to pull it and then have some of your paint start pulling off your ceiling where you cut in. Do you see what I mean? So I have to be careful with that. And if I have to lightly score it, I would probably only do it with a drywall, not a sheetrock knife, because I don't want to cut a line. Remember I was saying I'd do it with a sheetrock knife? No, don't do it with a sheetrock knife. Just do it with a sharp putty knife, sharp edge putty knife. And see, I got one that I've used so much it's gotten round. I could just take that up there and lightly score it along there if I need to in certain areas. I'll just have to be careful as I'm pulling that masking tape down, okay? And don't leave the masking tape up there too long. Here's the other thing. I had just painted this wall the other day, so you don't want to leave that masking tape up there too long, because when you get ready to pull it up, it might start pulling up the top edge of your fresh paint that you have on your wall. And another reason why you probably should use the blue masking tape instead of regular masking tape. But you know, if I take it down in a couple hours, I should be fine. If I left it up there for 2 or 3 days and then thought, oh yeah, I should pull that down, then you might start getting an issue, okay? So remember that.